Hi Taurus, how's it going? It's Flo with Flo and the Moon, and I will be doing your reading for March. So welcome. I'm just gonna clear a bit of energy for your reading. I've just done a few other ones, and I'm just lighting up a bit of Palo Santo to clear the energies so we can get the best reading for you. So I'm going to be doing something a little bit different this week. Actually, let me just talk about what I will be doing. I'm doing a tarot reading. Obviously I read the cards as well, but I receive messages intuitively, and those are communicated to you. And that's what the visions are all about. So I'm going to be introducing that this time around and see how it works. I'm going to be reading your monthly cards. So obviously, because it's a general read, it's for a group, not everything may resonate. So take what does and leave what doesn't. If you're a cross watcher, welcome. Nice to see you here. Okay, so let's just find a place to put my tea down. Right. Okay, so like I mentioned, I'm going to be talking about some visions I had relating to you. Now, some of these may not make sense at the beginning because it's quite like intense. My third eye is gone like, so I've been called to share all this stuff with you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about it, talk about the visions, do your reading, and then we're going to tie everything in. Okay? And we'll see how that works this month. Okay, Taurus. So there's a bit of a disclaimer here. What I actually saw was pretty graphic and intense, but I'm not going to say everything. I'm just going to sort of like summarize everything because I don't know if there's really any if it's necessary to go through all the details. Okay, so I went to bed last night with the full intention of doing a few of the signs and the tarot and their readings for the month of March. Yours is one of them. And so my dreams last night were intense, and they came in two parts. So the first part was I was in a popular supermarket chain, and it was weird because that was kind of like where everything happened within the supermarket chain. And the people there were characters from television programs I watch. So those were the people there. And even me, I was me, but I know that I wasn't me, if that makes sense. So I was me, but then when I looked in the mirror, it was the reflection of someone else. Not anyone famous, just a face that I've never seen before. Okay, and it started off with me in this supermarket chain, and I was a character that was captured and tortured, but the torturing turned into like facial reconstruction, like plastic surgery, all on this set with all these TV characters. And then I was put on ice in one of the big freezers, you know, those open freezers that you find you can buy your meats in and things like that. I basically went to bed in one of those. Okay, and the second part started off in that supermarket chain, like in one of the shops, and it was like that was my base, and I had to go to work from there. Now this job that I had to go to work for was from like a previous career, but in the dream I was still in that career, and that was the last day of that job. And I was trying to get to work, but things were getting into the way. Breakfast, transportation. I even saw a friend on the street, but I didn't even stop to say hello to her because I was in so much of a rush. Again, it was me, but in my reflection, it was somebody else. So I was in the body of somebody else. And by the end of all of that rushing around, I ended up on a beach, and it was very peaceful. It was dusk. The sun had just set, and it was just turning into twilight, so all the colors were really intense still. And you can hear the waves, and it was really relaxing. And I can see the symbol of Pisces sort of like floating around, like different versions of it. Yeah. And so after all that intensity, it was like the calm of the water and Pisces energy, which goes into what's happening now, right? Because as I'm recording this, it's still Pisces season, and the retrograde is happening. Okay, so let's do your reading. So I know it doesn't make sense right now, but as we do your reading, things will start to become clear as to the messages. Okay, so ooh, how many you've got there? Okay, it's a lot. I can take it. It's still enough. I've got the Hermit. Starting off with the Hermit. Maybe you're in seclusion. I've got the Four of Pentacles in its reverse, hanging on for dear life. The Devil in reverse, Taurus. It's earth energy. You could be dealing with a Capricorn, or you could just be releasing yourself from the shackles of something. Also, I should mention the Hermit is Virgo, so there's a lot of earth energy here. Justice. Lots of major arcanas. You in the middle of balancing things? Life? What's happening with that? I mean, Justice can also be Libra. Right? So far, you've... Oh, look, we've got another major arcana. You've got the Sun in reverse. See? Everybody seems to be getting this card so far. It's the Seven of Swords. 10 of Pentacles reversed. 5 of Swords. It looks like there's some deceit happening here, and maybe unfair play. Coupled with the Devil, that really intensifies everything. But it's almost like you've got a bit of a saving grace, which is the Sun. Although it's in its reverse, it's still a quite joyful card. One more card, please. Where that came from. One more card, please. Oh, 2 came out, and I'll take that one. So that one is the 6 of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, which goes into your overall energy for the month, is the 5 of Cups in reverse. So looks like there's some healing happening after all this madness of here. So you're almost starting from a place of seclusion and isolation. Maybe it was sort of like self-inflicted. Maybe you wanted to be by yourself, spend some time by yourself, which is a good thing. I think it's good to really just like go within, because that card is all about going within, you know. What are you trying to hang on to? We've got the 4 of Pentacles. Okay, I think I kind of went through them. Let's just get a bit of clarity on them. But it's looking like there's some examination into fears, examination into vices, examination into yourself, which is really good. Almost like you're trying to balance things out because it wasn't quite balanced before. Someone is not quite being honest around you, but that could also be you. Maybe there's something happening behind the scenes that you're not quite aware of, but it might be coming out soon. Causing, you know, a little bit of instability, whether that's at home or with your finances. You may have to cut people out. And you know what, this could also just be like, you know, with the 6 of Pentacles, it's about giving and receiving, right? And this has everything to do with balance, because when you're trying to balance things in your life, where before you were doing the giving, you might be in the position where you need a bit of help and you are going to be receiving, or vice versa, because we've got Justice card here, and that's about staying balanced. And there could be something coming to the surface that sort of initiates all of that or reinforces it, I should say. Let's get some clarity. Hermit. Oh. Okay, well, so we've got the Tower and we've got the Nine of Pentacles. So it's almost like you have to spend some time on your own because of some chaotic event that happened. And this could have to do with your finances or even your home. And that's what the Nine of Pentacles is about. Something that you've worked hard for and that you've built up. You've had to sort of like withdraw and retreat within because of the Tower moment that happened. You've got a lot of major arcana this month. So this is an important month for you. You know? Ooh. I didn't even ask the question yet. So what's the Four of Pentacles? So we got the Seven of Pentacles, which is patience, and the World, completion. You know, this was a very important phase that you're coming from, where the world comes when there's a bit of completion and you're ready to move on to the next phase. Maybe you did a little bit of traveling as well to sort of get away from a lot of these chaotic events. And we've got the Queen of Swords. I don't know if you're dealing with an air sign or just being independent, because that's a huge card on independence. What's the Devil? Let's get the Devil. Who is the Devil? What's happening with the Devil? Why is he here? Eight of Wands in its reverse. You could be experiencing some delays. Ace of Pentacles. This, yeah, definitely has to do with your material world. You know, oftentimes, especially if this has to do with job and finances, the Devil isn't a bad thing. It can just be you doing what needs to be done to get what you need. Do you understand what I mean? So especially in finances or in career, you will do what it takes, anything that it takes to get the job done, which sort of lightens the load of the meaning of this card, because sometimes we do have to do things sort of like under the table just to get away with it, just to get something done. And it's not necessarily like you're out to hurt anyone. Maybe you decided to go on a business on your own. Maybe you had a little bit of a chaotic February in terms of your finances and the job, and like finances relating to the job. What's the Justice about? Things are about to balance out. King of Swords. You working with an air sign. So you've got the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. So there's like some heavy air energy here. Like you've got a lot of air energy here. I don't know if you're working with another air sign. But also the Justice card with the King of Swords, that is like the law. You know, like something to do with law or litigation or something like that. You could be involved with something like that where maybe there was something happened under the surface that you weren't aware of. And maybe you had to get the courts involved with, having to do with finances. Get a bit more clarity on that. You had to leave a situation. It was a difficult one. You've had to leave a situation because of all this stuff that's happening. And maybe that's what the Devil is, you know, because the Devil, especially in its reverse, it sort of lightens the meaning of that card, because it means sort of like escaping something that was not good for you, and you seem to realize that. What's the Sun? And this was part of your overall energy, the Five of Cups in reverse. So that has to do with forgiveness and grieving. So it's almost like you were doing that with all this stuff that's happened. What's the Sun? The Sun. Yeah, new perspectives. Things are going slow, but you need this. Especially with any sort of transition like this, because you've got a lot of major arcanas, it seems like you've had a bit of a rocky time lately. You need some new perspectives. And balance. Yes. That was, we've got the Justice card, then you've got the Two of Pentacles. So you're definitely trying to balance everything. What's the Seven of Wands? Seven of Swords, please. Like I said, everybody got that this month so far. I don't know if there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, but also, especially with the Mercury energy, Mercury retrograde energy in Pisces, things are not what they seem. You've got the Queen of Wands and the Empress. So I kind of feel like you're the one doing something to get away. The Empress is about creativity and birthing, but in its reverse, it's almost like you need to focus it inwards. And maybe you are taking control and being the fire energy of the Queen. You could also be dealing with a fire sign this month relating to all these matters that we discussed. I mean, you got the Tower, Lovers, and the Devil. It could also even be like a whirlwind relationship that was really quite like intense. Because when those are coupled together, you know, it's almost like you're at the mercy of whatever the Tower has for you. Like, it could have been this love affair that is just so intense, but you've seemed to escape it. Anyway, so we've got the Queen of Wands. That's fire energy. So Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. So what's the Ten of Pentacles? Whatever it is, the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, it's almost like things have stagnated, or even just there's some blockages having to do with finances, this whole thing. And it looks like there's a lot of financial energy within this. And you're tired. You're tired of fighting. Absolutely. And false starts. You know, maybe you did have this love relationship that was here, but you kind of feel like something wasn't right, and you got out of that. It could even be a business venture that needed to start off, but it didn't. You didn't get the financial backing, and it didn't really work out that way. What's the Five of Swords all about? Ooh, the Magician. It's fantastic. Fantastic card for business. Excuse me. This card is all about standing in your power and understanding your power and having all the tools in front of you to carry out what you need to. You may have needed to cut people out in order for you to move on and actually stand in your power. And a lot of that completely makes sense with the devil energy at the beginning, and sort of like things happening behind the scenes, and you know, things not really being clear, but you made this decision to balance things out for yourself, and it looks like you're moving into this place of power. What's the Six of Pentacles about? The card of giving and receiving. And the Seven of Wands. So the Two of Cups is all about reciprocal relationships, and maybe you are beginning to understand a relationship. But when I see, it's kind of a weird combination, you know, because this is kind of like a card of giving and receiving, right? So maybe you are giving and receiving with this reciprocal love, but at the same time, I feel like you're still on guard about things. You're still very much on guard about things. Or maybe you've had to stand your ground and defend yourself. So let's just see. Let me get one more card. Let's see how this all ties in. King of Cups reversed. So it's almost like the intent is there, and the intent is there to sort of balance things out, but there's still some rocky seas to be navigated. And it's not surprising that things are a little bit unclear at the moment, because that's what the Pisces energy can be. You know, there's a lot of cosmic dust being kicked up, right? Relating to the psyche and things not really being what they seem, you know? Because on the one hand, you've got such contrast here, right? You've got the devil, but you've also got the sun. You know, big contrasts. It's like you're going within with the hermit, but then you've got a lot of really bright energy like the magician, who is out there in the spotlight, you know? But that's where you're headed, you know? And it's looking like you've had some balancing to do. And this is just, it hasn't been an easy ride, but it's looking like March is coming up a lot better for you than how it has been, but it's more of integrating all of that. Right? So how does this work with my visions? I think a lot of it has to do with being on stage and trying to figure out why you're doing all of this stuff. You know, there was that really graphic scene of me, you know, getting that plastic surgery. And the same thing is here. It's like, who are you trying to impress? Who are you in all of this? Why are you doing all of this? Are you doing it for the love of somebody? Because you've got the Lovers and that. So it looks like there's a lot of love there, but I kind of feel like there's still some working out to do, because you've had a bit of a ride, and you are going to have to integrate all of these things. At the end of the day, the Pisces energy is strong, and it brings up a lot of healing from the past, of everything that we need to work on in order to move forward with our lives. And it's looking like that's what you've been doing, and that's what the healing is all about. This is part of your overall energy, the Five of Cups in reversed. Healing what's happened in the past and trying to integrate it into your future. And, you know, it looks like there's a little bit of financial instability coming up into it, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to be okay with everything else. Okay. Financial stability, or even just your material world. Oh, strange, shifting. You got the same card as Aries. So I don't know if you're working, because there's a lot of fire energy in here as well. I don't know if you're working with an Aries, because they got the same advice card. Shifting. Things are changing around you. And that's what this period is for. The Mercury retrograde is asking us to really look within and dot all I's, cross all the T's. And, you know, some of these delays that you're experiencing, it's telling you to slow down. Like in my dream, all of this rushing around, all this craziness, I ended up on a beach enjoying the scenery. And it was so relaxing. So that's how this shifting card plays in. So, because things are moving around you and you can't stop it, but it's about understanding why it's happening. Yeah. Things will fall into a steady, reliable pattern. We come to know what to expect and how things are going to be. And because we humans are creatures of comfort and habit, we usually enjoy hanging out on the plateau where things are familiar and reliable. You may find yourself changing jobs or careers. Old friends or relationships may drift away as new people enter your life. Yeah, so things are changing around you, and it's telling you that just understand that this is happening for a reason. And as tough as it can be, because there's a lot of themes coming into this. There's definitely wealth, there's definitely love, there's definitely career. in with this, you know? And every time I see the Empress, I think of self-care as well, because all of that sort of ties in. When there's all this crazy stuff happening around you, you need to remember who you are and why you're doing it and what's happening and how to take care of yourself throughout. Okay? Well, that's it. So that was your reading for March. Thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in April. Bye.